You don't lose because of your edge or your strategy is bad. You actually lose because you have an ego that cannot handle being wrong. So this video is about the fear of being wrong and how it's affecting your trading. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what the cause of it is, why you keep repeating this pattern every single week, how to overcome it, things to look out for, and how to reframe and change your identity into a consistent professional trader that doesn't care about the outcome. So make sure you watch this to the end. Let's get started. If you have ever felt any kind of hesitation before entering a trade, that's because you have a fear of being wrong. If you freeze during the drawdowns, so you go into a drawdown and then you start to panic, you don't know how to act, you're scared, you don't trust your system, you think that the next trade is going to blow up in your face and then it's all over, then that is also the fear of being wrong. If you take your profits too soon, this is a bad habit, because that means if you keep taking profits before your TP, your target, then you're never going to allow your edge to fully play out. So instead of taking 2R or 3R, you're up half an R, 1R, and you close the trade. You close too soon. So you don't know how to hold your trades. You don't know how to let your trades run. And that is because you have this fear of being wrong. It's crippling you. Another classic example is moving your stops too soon. So your trade moves in your direction, and then now you move your stops to break even, only for the trade to come back, tap out your break even, stop you out there, and then continue moving in your direction. And this one is really painful. If you just left your stop loss where it was originally, then the trade would have been a success. But instead, you had to move everything to your break even as soon as you had the chance to. You were in there fiddling with it. And that is because you are obsessing over the charts. You have this obsession with the chart. You can't stop looking at the chart. So you take a trade and then you don't know how to walk away. You don't know how to close the chart. You stand there staring at the chart as if looking at the price action is going to make the chart go in your favor. You think that just by looking at it, things would be better. And it's not the case. That's just obsession. Whether you look at the chart or you don't look at the chart, price is going to do exactly what price wants to do. There's nothing you can do about it. So that is another mental illness in trading that I like to call it. And you have to overcome it. Otherwise, it's always going to affect your trades. And that chart obsession will lead you to micromanage your trading. And this never ends well, because this goes back to not being able to hold your profits, not being able to let your trades run, or moving your stops too soon, or worse, widening your stop loss in the hopes that price will turn around. Because if you get stopped out, it hurts and you don't want to be wrong. So then you move your stops, and then next thing you know, your stop loss is so big and you're in a real mess that taking an L now would mean that you're wrong, and that really hurts your ego. So it really, all of it comes down to your ego, but we're going to go into it a little bit deeper to understand or understand this ego that is destroying your trades. And this is how it works. The ego is basically your nervous system reacting to the situation. And it has this negative reaction Remember in my other video, we spent a good time talking about the nervous system and how it has to be regulated. So when your nervous system is not regulated, in this case, it's going to start reacting and telling you lies to prove or to cope with the situation. It's going to tell you why it's okay to move your stops now, or it's going to make you think it's okay to take your profits early because you don't want to lose out on profits. You don't want to go into the red. It's going to tell you all of these cope or all of these stories that might make sense to you at the time, but it's an emotional reaction because your body, your mind, once you put on the trade, is now coming from survival mode. You just want to survive. You want to survive, and you don't want to be wrong, because if you are wrong, it hurts your survival. You have to be right in order to maintain that survival mode instinct, which is what your nervous system is trying to do. It's just trying to keep you alive or from being wrong. And so one thing that we need to understand is that, first of all, you're not broken. It can be fixed. And you can retrain the nervous system by regulating it, but you have to deprogram the old childhood programming. So you have to understand where this problem is actually coming from to begin with. And it's coming from an old subconscious programming in your childhood upbringing, from the matrix, from your school, from your parents. And here's how it works. For example, in school, we are expected to memorize the subject and take an exam. And we have to pass the exam, correct? So you get grades on being right. And if you're wrong, there are consequences. You might not pass the exam. And if you don't pass the exam, then you might go home and your parents might beat you. They might scold you. They might ground you. They might take away your lunch money. They might not buy you a birthday present, Christmas present. There's a consequence to being wrong. Do you understand? And that is from the matrix, from school, from the matrix. If you're in society and you do something wrong, there are consequences. You go to jail if you hurt somebody, if you do something bad to someone. You see, if you cheat the system or you do something bad, something that society calls wrong in the eyes of society, then there are consequences and you will be punished. So you can see that from all aspects of life that you have been brought up in the 3D world, there have been consequences to being wrong. And that is the exact reason why you cannot trade successfully, why you hesitate, why you freeze, why you take profits early, why you can't hold your trades. Because you have the same negative memory from this old programming stuck in you, which you have to clear. You have to, it's just bad energy, it's trapped emotions, it's trapped energy, you have to clear it. And that's what we do with my students. But let me explain. This is being triggered. You see, you're being triggered by the event, whatever the event is. And it's triggering these old emotions, these old negative loops, this old programming. And so you automatically associate being wrong in trading to the same old life programming of being wrong. You have the same, you're making the same connection. The thing that you have to understand is that In trading, see, this is the level up. This is the secret. This is where you have to split yourself and you have to make this conscious decision and understand this, understand this, right? You have to really know this. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck. You have to accept the fact that in trading, you're not always going to be right. And it's okay to be wrong. That is the magic. That is the mindset shift that you need to have, that not every trade is going to be a win. You see? Once you understand that, and then you are trading, you're thinking in probabilities. You're trading from probabilities. And you can only get to this level from doing your back test, from knowing your win rate, from doing the work. Most people in trading backtest or practice a strategy over one weekend, and they think they got it. First of all, it's not even burnt into the subconscious programming. It's not even unconsciously competent level yet. Not only that, they don't have enough data to rely on, to believe in their win rate. You see? So you have to think in probabilities, and you can only get there through your back test or your forward test, through repetition, doing it enough times. Let me ask you a question. What is your name? You know it. What is your age? How old are you? You already know the answer. What is your strategy? See, if you don't know your strategy, like you know your name and your age, then you don't know, you just don't know it enough. And the only way for you to know your strategy, like your name, is to do the 100 hours of backtesting, 100 days of backtesting, to put in the reps, to put in the mental reps into your subconscious mind so that you have the pattern recognition, so that you know what you're looking at. You can look at a chart and within 2 minutes know if you should trade it or not. There's no guessing, there's no guesswork. You have that ability, and then you have your win rate, you know your numbers, then, only then, you will be able to appreciate probabilities. And then, if you appreciate probabilities, you're going to not demand certainties. You're not going to think in certainties. Nothing is going to be certain. You're going to be okay being wrong. Being wrong is not going to destroy you emotionally. It's just part of your edge. So you need to have that in your pocket first, okay? And you also have to understand what's causing it, which is your childhood programming. So we have to delete that. And then we have to reprogram through repetition of your strategy and also your new trader identity. New identity. And so you have to embody the identity of a consistently profitable trader. What does it feel like to be consistent, to be in profits? What does it feel like to trade like a consistent trader? You have to embody that. You have to know that identity. See, right now, the only identity you know is an inconsistent gambler that hesitates, that has an ego. You don't know how to detach it. So you need to reprogram after you have deleted the old programming, which is what I do with the students. And then we reprogram you with your new identity so that your new behavior becomes automatic. so you don't hesitate. So you're okay with probabilities, you're okay with uncertainty. You see, this is the shift that you have to become. You have to become this person in order to get rid of that fear of being wrong. And then you have to detach. That's another skill on its own. How do you detach without detaching, withdrawing emotionally? But you have to detach from the outcome. So what does that feel like? That means you're only present in the moment, what the chart is showing you, what the structure is showing you, what your system and your process is showing you there and then, and how you're feeling right there and then. Are you trying to force a trade? Are you hesitating, or are you calm and disciplined and relaxed? That is the character of a consistent trader. So you have to be present, and you have to forget about your loss, yesterday's loss. If you took a loss yesterday, you cannot let that destroy your trades today. You have to forget about the past. The past is done, it's gone. You can't fix it, you can't change it. You got to make peace with it and let it go. And then there's the future, the outcome. Know that you don't control the future. You cannot bend the future or control it. So you don't attach yourself to the outcome. You want an outcome. You know you want to win. But it doesn't matter if you don't win. You see, you have to care, but not care that much. That is the secret to detaching. Some people can't detach because they are so attached to the outcome. They care too much. You're forcing things. If you're forcing the outcome, it's not going to happen. It's going to run away from you. But you also cannot not care. You have to just care maybe 10%. That's the sweet spot. You care just a little bit, but not too much. Because if you care too much about the outcome, then you're going to be afraid of being wrong. And then you're going to go back to obsessing over the charts. You won't be able to walk away. You're going to keep opening your charts. You're going to have it on your phone, on your trading view, on your phone. You're going to look at it every minute of the day, thinking that just by looking at it, you're going to win. That's not the case. So you have to detach. And that's another thing that we do with my students. We work on that as well. So you have to understand this. This is a huge obstacle that everybody with an ego has to deal with in trading, and that's almost every one of you. And I'm not saying it that you're a bad person. Of course, have your egos in certain areas of your life. Have a spine. Stand up for yourself. Let people know what's up when it's time. But when it comes to trading, you have to really tone it down. You have to let go and just accept that it's beyond your control. Whatever happens, happens. You can take a loss and it won't destroy you. You won't want a revenge trade. You can take a trade and close the charts and walk away and just give it time and be patient and let the trade run. So you can catch that 2R, 3R nice and clean without freaking out. You see? That's the secret. So I hope that explains a lot about the ego and fear of being wrong. You have to know that you are safe, and being wrong is completely fine. You don't need to be right all the time. The best traders in the world are wrong 60% of the time. They're only right 30, 40% of the time. But when they're right, they're really right, and they win big. And it covers the losses. But you know that. You know that already, but you can't apply it. Because you know why you can't apply it? Because your nervous system and your old programming is trying to cope, is telling you lies. So we got to go back and we got to delete that and then reprogram. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, comment, share this video. Let me know what you're dealing with. But until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Goodbye.